nobody's alive. Make it look like you're so ice. You won't make it to the finish line. Now if you gotta know the truth was gonna let you go. You was fine, never mind, unpredictable. Feet out of the ground, you ain't no one. You was star, blew it up like supernova. In the nighttime, hit my hotline. Sharing secrets, you was really was about your life. Basic bullets, with no bullets. Does your wifey know you're begging for my notice? Promise you're the same, running for the meds. Sure you like my vibe, that's my candy on my wrist. Bad habits, little rabbit. Now sit down, you can have it. I see it when you walk my way. Nice big head, come and play with me. Freak it up, got a whole lot of love for my dog. I see it when you walk my way. Nice big head, come and play with me. Freak it up.
So I'm just gonna be away for 1 hour. Please don't break anything. And I might have a surprise for you.
Give me a miracle. I need a syllable. Talking about big cash, that's the minimum. I'm done with this trash. Taught to be critical. Show me your mental state before we get physical. Pour some water in your cup, let it drip, drip, drip. Now look straight into my eyes and you sip, sip, sip. It's about time that you shine. Take off that leash so that we can have some fun. I see it when you walk my way. Nice big bed, come and play with me. Freak it up, got a whole lot of love for my dog. I see it when you walk my way. Nice big bed, come and play with me. Freak it up, now show how freaky you are.
I do love me some cowbell. Can't get enough cowbell. Nothing sexier than a cowbell player. Get your cowbell on, ladies and gentlemen. The only channel in the crypto interwebs where you can freely play your cowbell to your heart's delight. We will never ban cowbells here. We are a cowbell channel. ABCs. A, B, C, D.
For those of you out there hitting that like button, I sure say thank you very much.
Welcome everyone to Late Night Crypto with Road Dog. That would be me. We're taking a look at the market in a sea of red tonight. But did we get the old market crash? Oh man, dang it, I hate it when that happens, but is it a crash? There we see some problems coming. There were some signs of problems coming. We did talk about, not once here also, oh, we called a crash. We talked about the possibilities though, man, but wow, we was kind of hoping we'd get a bounce here, man, and maybe see our altcoins get up a little higher, get past this area. We keep getting rejected here, man. So we got up there, stayed there a few days until Friday. Or maybe that's Thursday. Is it Thursday? No, it's Friday. And wow, man, we just came all the way back to the bottom of the channel here. So here we go on the altcoins again, right? Bitcoin dominance, however, has been going up. So a lot of people have been looking at Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin's coming down right now. Don't you find that just a little odd? I've been checking out this bigger chart over here. We talked about this idea about US Tether dominance before. Well, I put together USDC dominance and Tether dominance, added them together and put it here. We got pretty much the same idea going on, but I'm looking at it closer. Now, every time before in history, this was our big run up. I mean, it kind of started here back in October and November 2020. That's when the big move happened, but it really started getting really heavy right through here. But it was this area right in April, right when we peaked out, then we started reversing back, and that started our kickoff to that big old dip on Bitcoin right here. That happened. Then we popped up again, right? And that's where we got this dump. And then this popped all the way up there to June of 2022. June of 2022 was right here with this big drop. This was December 22. This is January when we started popping, going to the upside, right? This is January. This was January when Bitcoin started going to the upside. So if you haven't noticed, like every time they would come here, like this was March, this was the weeks of March 18th, those through March 25th, those areas. Do that one more time over here. Right through here when we were at our tops. So I'm looking at this and wow, I'm trying to forecast what's going to happen, man. Now we know that it seems that as this number goes up, well, Bitcoin has a tendency to go down and drags the rest of the market with it. So what I'm hoping to see here, here on the weekly, we do have this death cross getting ready to happen in a few weeks. Not real soon. On this is on stablecoin dominance here. Still on the weekly chart here. But if we can get rejected and come back down, so what is this? Maybe 1-2 weeks where we're kind of Bitcoin. Altcoins are dying. What's wrong? Is it something like that? And then we come back down and get one of these 3 areas. Now these are fib levels. This is the 618 right here. This is. Let me make sure I got that right. This swing, just for this little move here, swing high to swing low. No, I'm sorry, that's the 786 down here. We're at the 618. We don't want to bounce off here. We want to lose it. We lost this trend line, so we need that. We need this to come down. So what I'm guesstimating is that as price slowly comes down over the next few weeks, we get our top in Bitcoin, a local top. And then we'll probably bounce back here a little bit. I think we're going to have 2 tops on this Bitcoin season, and I think we're pretty close to getting to it. Now I don't know where it's going to stop. We got some targets up here. I do have this one about 73,662 with the possibility of 75, maybe up to 77. But I'm not expecting, it's going to take a lot, I think, to drive us to that. And once it gets there for, I don't know, we may stay up there, you know, spend a few weeks in that range or something. But I'm kind of seeing the possibility that we might see a little rejection there. So just an idea I'm throwing out, and that might give a scenario with Bitcoin, you know, where we had like this and we get a bigger, steeper retracement, and that one could, you know, take us back down to 48. Possible. So I did have this drawn out on one chart. Yeah, with this one, with this line here. So, or we could respect this trend line here. So maybe pull back. On this particular chart, it says the possibility of maybe getting up to 88,000. Now, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Actually, I would love to see that. Bitcoin to hit up the top of this trend line, get rejected. But it doesn't have to touch the top of this trend line. And if it doesn't, it kind of means that this trend line is getting a little weak. So that kind of makes me wonder, well, when it does pull back and we get another move to the upside, how much stronger is that going to move? Or is it going to be a weaker move? So interesting, man. It would suck at this whole bull market that we just ranged for Bitcoin, but we do. I don't think it's going to do that. I think we will bust out of this channel eventually, but I don't know that it's going to be anytime real soon. A lot of people calling for a new all-time high this month. I hope it comes. I hope it's at 88,000, 94,000 up through there. I hope it is, but what I'm seeing here on Tether Dominance is spelling a little bit of a different story, and it's one I'm going to listen to personally, because it's been pretty key on when you backtest it and look at those ideas. It's been pretty spot on for calling a reversal at tops and bottoms for Bitcoin, or at least, you know, when those reversals happen. So it looks to me like over maybe June, July might be exciting if this starts decreasing and gets rejected and starts coming down. And it looks like it is. I'm on the weekly. The 9-moving average is trying to roll over here. So as it goes back up, we're getting a little bit hurt with Bitcoin and everything, right? I'm on the weekly. We come down to like a 4-hour. So basically, since about Friday around noon, we started feeling the pain, and that's what caused it. Everybody was selling back into stablecoin. Now, here's something that I find that's kind of interesting. We got Lucy in the mix. If you don't know who Lucy is, well, I'm just gonna have to figure it out as we go. There's also a shoulder, head and shoulder to the upside. So here's what I like. I like the 800 here. The 600 moving average beneath it, so the momentum is actually down, and there's no better place than to get rejected than from Lucy, because she's just mean. She just likes to knock things down. So if stablecoin dominance comes down, that means the money will be heading back into Bitcoin and altcoin. So we need to see it. We need to see it get a little bearish here, and right now she's looking a little bullish. She needs to be slapped down a little bit. Come on, Lucy, do your job. Slap it down like you know you want to do. All right, guys, I got some altcoins to look at. If you got any you want to look at, you need to throw them in the chat. Altcoins are at a juicy price. If we get a bounce here and reverse, because we, you know, it sounds weird when you say it, or maybe you get tired of hearing it. We stay in a channel, or we stay in a formation until we don't. And we bounced off of here once, so we can bounce off here again and just go back the other way. If what we're looking for on altcoin dominance, if that does end up reversing over this next week, remember we do have some news coming out with the Fed, so that's, when is that? It's on the 12th, so that's 4 days from now. Tuesday or Wednesday, I believe. It's going to be a shaky week for Bitcoin and altcoins and most things this next week, so this is not going to be our exciting week, but I think the one toward the end of that and after will be more exciting for our altcoins. So this could be an opportunity to snag some good little prices if you find a good trade setup, or good find them at a good key level. Shout out to everybody who's hanging out here with me. I'm trying to bring you up, but my boomer ways just won't bring that chat box here. So we got Rising Sun. We got Sam Webb. Mr. Miles got a fever, and the only prescription is more Caspa. We got Joe from Trade Intuition, fellow YouTuber. Go check him out. Don't be square, be cool. If you have trouble trading in the market, you need to listen to the wisdom of Joe. get some good fundamentals in. Joe says, didn't get a notification. I don't even know how that works, Joe. It may be because, I mean, I don't put out my thumbnails like an hour or two before usually. It's usually a late thumbnail. That probably has a lot to do with that, I would say. Welcome to a corner store. I shall be back before you get to the most important altcoin ever released. Really? Pajama is sweet as F, says Rising Sun. Cowbell, cowbell, cowboy. Well, Mr. Miles, are you back yet? Are you back yet? Are you back yet? Are you back yet? Oh no! Hope you don't miss it, Mr. Miles. Oh, is that a bounce? We're on Casper 4 hour here. Oh, it got me moving averages up, the bigger ones. That's actually bullish. If they weren't up, I wouldn't have been looking for that or seeing that. I would just been going by the standard. You know, moving averages do look good. They're all up and spread apart, most except for the younger ones over here. Those younger ones are wildly. You remember when you were that age, right? 9 and 21. Even 21 was a wild one, right? So nice, we got a makeshift trend line there. It's not really fitting in on this timeline, but she seems to be bouncing from that area, so I'll take that. Looks like she's about at a 618 area there, 786. 618 area, she bounced up at 786. That's just a bunch of Fibonacci jargon for she's touching some good areas where she might be able to actually make this bounce happen off this area. That would be cool. We got our indicators kind of buried in the ground here, so they could be reset and give us that little spring that we need. First thing I need to see is price get above that 9 moving average. That's just my little thing. Doesn't have to be yours, but it works for me. My motto is, if it's above the 9, everything's fine. And there's the line and the 9. We got to break the 9 and the line. Right now, on this particular time frame, on the 1 hour, we're struggling with the 200 moving average. It's going to take us even lower with some rejection on this trend line. So will we retest this area, man? What gets wicked often gets candlesticks, so they say. I don't think it always plays out perfect. A lot of times it doesn't even come down there. Looks like it comes down to like a 886 or a 786 fib area, if you ask. Whoa. That's how I would look at it, but that's not how you do it though. Like from the swing low to that swing high. Oh gosh darn it, I'm not playing with the thing, road dog thing. It's this one. Can't even get my head on. Swing low to swing high. The 786 or this 886 areas. Those little times you back test it and you kind of see that, and just don't quite make it down to touch the wicks. It kind of bounces off area just right before it. It's usually that little guy. Oh crap, you should have marked it, dude. So if he makes a higher low than this little wick, that's what I'd kind of look for. 15.2 cents might be retest again. Don't want to see this 50 moving average cross over that 200. It doesn't have to. Price will pull back above the 200 and get a little bit more bullish. It can just turn that little baby all the way around. Well, the price comes before the moving averages. It's just when they get back to the same levels that sometimes they butt heads. That's all. I like it when they butt heads. Sometimes those little moving averages cross, and it's just like a... I don't know. I don't know how to describe that. It's just like a bad day. Or a good day if it's crossing bullishly. Casper, oh Casper, are you going to break through this? Well, that would be awesome. Mr. Miles is going to throw his wrench at you if you do cast without it. Rising Sun says, hey, there's Crispy Chicken. Chris has been, I gotta give Chris, I'll get to GeoMix next. Give Chris a quick shout out. He's been posting some charts over in the chart room over there. Oh, for God's sake, can we not? Under trade setups. So shout out to Chris, man. It took a lot of coaxing to get him to putting charts out, but I knew he had it in him to do it. His TA is awesome, dude. And it's about 2 years ago after I first started the channel. He's one of the first people to start watching my videos and things, and one of the first people in the Telegram group. And I'd like to think that we had a part in his development there, but you pick up things from all sources, and I just like to see him putting stuff to use, making that, having that life-changing skill. So shout out to Crispy Chicken, which, there we are. That's what I'm looking for, some Crispy Chicken. All right, Rising Sun, we'll take a look at GMX. GMX on Binance. Ooh, we're on the 1 hours. Starting with that 200 moving average. Just zoom out a little bit. Becomes the 50 on the 4 hour. Becomes the 9 on the daily. You find that interesting? Do you find that interesting? That the 9 moving average on the daily is right now the same as the 50 on the 4 hour, which is the same as the 200 on the 1 hour. See a relationship between the days and the moving averages there. They're so cool. I'm just telling you. All right, so GMX, let's take a look. Let's get all their stuff off. What was this mess? Nailed it. What? I don't know what you're looking at. Was that an inverted head and shoulder to the upside? That is what we call a failed inverted head and shoulders here. Man, we haven't looked at this since she was in the falling wedges zone. I'm calling nailed it. we didn't even have a trade set up. I don't know. We're just talking. Anyway, let's go over here. GMX. Now she's, ooh, she made a lower low. GMX. Give me just a minute and we will find out about this little guy. Not a fan of that. You're being so quiet, you're not saying anything. Cat got your tongue. Okay, that makes sense to me. Where are you coming in at? She's got a bit of a rough ride ahead of her. GMX. Okay, work's almost done. Work's almost done. I'm on the 3-day chart. Let me come down to a smaller one here. On the daily, getting rejected by the 200 moving average. All the moving averages are to the bearish side, although price is trying to flip it around. Not yet confirmed the bottom. Now we made a lower low, and I think there's a chance that we may come down and hopefully make a higher low, and that could be in one of these two areas here. Chances are good we're going to get rejected here because the 100 moving average is below the 200 moving average, and when this was a 618 Fibonacci area, where we will most likely get rejected, because that's what usually happens there. Should be a lot of people putting some sell pressure there. Ichimoku Cloud looks pretty cool, so it's suggesting it may be just a shallow move back to about 32.53. If that area is lost, I'll be looking for 27, but I do think a good chance here for 32.53. 50 moving average is also easing up to that spot, so I like that idea. This is just an oddball freaking shape, so we got this little guy right here. That's kind of trend line. It's a little janky in itself, to be honest with you. And it's doing some other stuff here. So looks like this is going to be some a little bit more sell pressure at this area. Resistance is what the word I'm trying to say. And about the 43 area is what I got, where we may kind of wick up there. I hope we can get up there. I mean, it's above the non-moving average, and that's great. So if you're in it, you know, the trend line strategy will, I mean, as long as you respect that trend line, she can still keep going up and recover these areas. Recovering the 618 area, about 47, she gets past $48 and can, you know, break past this $51 area, get past all this noise here. And then we can start seeing some better things, but it's quite likely that she will get rejected in these areas and end up maybe going sideways over here and then maybe breaking the trend line. But if she does break the trend line, then I might have to come back to kind of adjust where she might come back to. But for right now, from what we got, I'm looking at about $32 if we lose that area. So that could be cool if you take a little profit or something up in those areas and it comes back. And that didn't work worth a crap when I did that, because that could be a 30% drop, and probably don't want to ride that out in the portfolio, but it could be a way to take advantage of it if you can plan of it. But yeah, I'm seeing some rejection up in these areas and then the bounce down here as she tries to figure out what she's going to do in life. Mr. Miles, what now? I'm here now. Man, you just missed Casper, dude. Did I miss the live Costa? Casper, 20 cents already, damn it. So much bullish things happening for it. Binance likely listing soonish. That's right. They're not on Binance yet, are they? They're not on Coinbase yet either. Holy crap. And when they get listed on those big exchanges, you know, they gotta have some Caspa on those exchanges. I mean, a lot of times, sometimes they have to go out and buy some big old bags for themselves. I heard that's kind of one of the reasons why it might not be listed, because it's just too much of a, they should have bought sooner. Mr. Miles says most of the network is now running on the Rust code. Cool, that's awesome. Which means 10 blocks per second. should be seen before the end of the year. Wow, man. Rising Sun says, sweet ass TNA. So we get it? Well, we try. We do like the TNA around here. This is a TNA channel. Don't get it twisted. We are definitely a TNA channel here. Rising says I'm in a short. Well, it looks like that short's got a possibility to go your way overall, but short term, she may get a little bullish on you. I don't. Was she trying to lose that 9 on the daily? How's she looking on the 4 hour? Oh, she below it on the 4 hour. She had already done it. Okay. She still hadn't broke this trend line. I would watch that one, especially if you're in a short. That's where she could get a little bit tricky there. Indicators are starting to look like I'm on the 4 hour. It looks like they're starting to bottom out there. On the 1 hour, so on the shorter term time frames, I think we actually got our little megaphone thing going off, which means that she could get a bounce here in this area. That would be bouncing off the 200 moving average on this too. I can foresee on the short term plays that we talked about her getting up to 40, 47, maybe hitting 50. It could happen within this. So be cautious about that. But she breaks that trend line, oh man, that short is on big time. But if she, you might want to, make sure you got a good stop in place in case she decides to go the other way, because shorter term time frames looks like she might be thinking about it. And this is Tao on my beautiful shoulder, head and shoulder busted. That is one reason why I've heard one of my mentors from a trading group say it, and then I've also read Thomas Bukowski saying it too, man. It's possible, because there's never, the patterns aren't that, the patterns aren't a pattern until it's confirmed, and it's not confirmed until it meets all the expectations of that pattern. There's certain little rules that you need to apply to these if you're going to be a pattern trader to know those. So if we're looking for that shoulder, head and shoulder to the upside, I mean, you might have caught it too early, which happens a lot. Especially if we're new, get excited. Well, that one's going to make a shoulder. It's going to make a head and shoulders. And then it's going to come down 10,000 to this level. And then from there, it will go up to here. Yeah, there is that little phase. That's so cute. Then you get your butt kicked. You get your butt kicked 4 or 5 times. And you're like, didn't quite work out that way. Just speaking some trader truth here, even from my own personal experience and watching others, but mine too. It's just the natural part of it, I believe. So 50 across the 200 moving average to the downside. 100 still up there to give us a little hope. Let's raise this guy. Where could that go? Still respecting this new trend line. This is like a secondary trend line. This was the major one right here, so make you big and fat. Who you calling fat? And the secondary one, I mean, I don't usually put a lot of stock in those. It's weak. I might get a miracle, and it could bounce off of here, and we can just go happily on higher highs and higher lows, and sing kumbaya and everything. That could happen. still notice that we're in this falling channel, and this could be our partial decline, which first steps of breaking to the upside. So perhaps we know that we got some solid resistance right here in this area at 482. Bah. Ichimoku Cloud says she's ready to take her down, man. I don't know why, but Ichimoku Cloud thinks that we can even come lower. Like, Ichimoku Cloud, but mean, man. What's up with you, Cloud? Who peed in your cornflakes this morning? What happened? Did somebody say something bad to you, Cloud? But you look angry, Cloud. I don't like it when she gets all thin like that, and not unless there's some green there or something, man. That's nasty looking. That was mean to me. And she can just get all thin and drop here, and you know, prices. This is actually a reflection of price, like 26 candles ahead of time. I don't know if you know this. Like looking at the shadow, like we got a little candle flame over here, and it's throwing a shadow on the wall. That's really all this cloud is. But she's looking like she's going to doom down here, meaning this price is. I don't want to see that happen. Don't do it, Tao. Don't do it. I'm telling you, Tao. So we do need to see some bounces here. Come on, Tao. Bounce off this 618 or bounce off this trend line. Respect that trend line. That would be even better. Come on. Mr. Miles says, rumor is that Binance has been buying slowly in small chunks for the past few months. Since CASP is a whole new thing, it's harder for them to incorporate it properly. Yeah. Well, we need more exchanges to come on board. It's hard not to like CASP, but it really is. Coinbase likely will hold out because, yes, they have to buy it from spot like everyone else. They never listed Flux, and it has a similar situation. Preston says, Sun says, yes, the 3 minute is strong. FET, good time to buy. I actually did buy a little bit of that today since it was down. She's at a 618. So on my spot margin strategy, I added some at that level, or at the on the daily, close to this 200 moving average. That's at what, $1.50 right now. $1.53 basically. And she could definitely keep on coming down there. So I've got some limit orders. I spread limit orders out. If I'm if I'm accumulating, that's my accumulating. If I'm accumulating, I'm not worrying about stop losses and doing a trade. I think we just when it comes to the markets and everything, I think we just classify everything under trader, like investing under trades. Because you know, if you build a HODL bag, I don't know, I heard someone tonight on YouTube kind of grouping them together and considering that trading, and professional trading even at that. I don't know, there's a lot of professional traders, I guess, that have a 401ks that buy and cash out a few years later. Maybe they're pros too. Maybe you should be asking your grandpa for advice, your old boss for some trading advice or something. I don't know, because they filled out that 401k for them. It's a good thing, don't get me wrong, but there's a difference between investing and trading, in my personal opinion. And position trading gets it can blur the lines, man. Position trades can last for several months. And it's ideally a position trade idea is when you accumulate slowly, whenever we're at these bottoms. And those were my strategies that we talked about during the bear cycle. And that's what I did on a lot of things. And And there's some things I put very little into that turned into a, some nice bags. V-Chain for one, I&J for another. But accumulating on pullbacks and things like that to maintain the position. Just why I do. So I like where we're here on the 618 Fibonacci. I'm going to double check that real quick. That's some loud. And let's put this up here. I mean, if we get bearish and it doesn't hold, we'll be looking at the 120 and even on down to 85 cent. Well, I know it sucks to talk about it, but that is the bottom of the channel. It could technically happen if the market falls out, Bitcoin goes south. The Jerome Powell says something out of the wrong side of his mouth, or wakes up with a pillow crease on his face and it makes him look kind of mean that day. It could be anything that kind of gets the legacy boys all scared to where they dump it. Man, they can't wait to dump stuff sometimes. Diamond hands is not part of Wall Street. And we saw that last time with Bitcoin in the last market, man. I mean, they were quick to dump. Very quick to dump. The institutional investors that were in the game and the VCs and things, they were, not the VCs, but the institutional investors, they were, or traders, they dumped. Which I think, maybe that may have been a lot of Alameda in there too, though. I like this myself. Yeah, but I can see how 120 could come in the picture. So the question is this a good time to buy? I think it's a good time to nibble. I'm not so that we're getting a bounce here just yet. It did come back to this area before, kind of a retest to that area. I need a bigger time frame. It does look to me like she can get cheaper, though. It does. So it's what she said, 173 now, so 165. I see that coming in the picture, man, but I can't get past this 120 area. It may not happen this week. It may be next week or something, but I can see it playing out over the next, what are we on, the 5 days? Give it about 3 more candles. That's about another 2 weeks. 9 across barely over the 21, and we're below that 9 on the 5 day, and I can definitely see a push down to these areas. So I got a plan for that accordingly too. Apparently there's also this trend line, and unfortunately, oh man, don't want it to hit there, but this makes me want to go back to look at total 3 real quick, just to see if our altcoins are what they're up to again. The cloud getting thicker. Don't want price to get any closer to it. Definitely don't want to be touching it. But when you say a thick cloud, that's where we get slow prices slowing up and gradually just coming down to start to meet that little guy. Above the 9, that's cool. Keep it up. Lost it on the 3 day though. What's up with you, man? Straighten up. Talk to the 5 day. He's a bit more positive than you are. Man, overall, I see things looking good. It's just that we just got a couple of weeks of this sideways bullcrap. So, I mean, I'm going to peg it in with the FMOC stuff coming up, and then what's that, about 5 days, 4 days, 5 days from here? So a week out. I think this week's going to suck. It's going to suck, and our portfolios are going to be down, and we're not going to be happy. We're going to be grumpy. But I think it looks like next week and the week after that are going to look a little bit more promising from what I can see here. I think we have that probability. I want to call for that probability from what I'm seeing on the bigger time frames. Even, yeah, there's 50s crossing the 200 on the weekly, the 5 day. It's already happened on here. We just got a little chop from, as long as total 3 is going to respect this trend line, and the bigger time frames look like it will. The shorter ones are starting to look hard. Nope, no, I want to go right through it, jump through it. I don't personally think it's going to happen. Sam West says VET. Man, yeah, I like VeChain. Oh, are you cheap again? Not as cheap as I bought you. Man, when she went up to these areas over here, when she started hitting over 4 cents, I was like, oh, it's moonbag time. So I moonbagged it. And that's one of my bigger bags. So she came down to our little target after breaking this trend line. So that's, I mean, it sucks that had to happen, but I mean, it's cool that we can at least have a method that we can identify what area that would probably happen at. And so that was about 3 cents with one of our fibs. And if possibilities still at 2.7 cents, which would be a freaking awesome place to start buying some VeChain, man. Because VeChain, I mean, they're staying on their game. They're doing stuff. They build stuff through the bear market. They're doing everything they should do. And I mean, she got up to what? I think it was 28 cents. And even if she only goes to 12 cents, Ichimoku Cloud says she can go up to 14. And it just being a penny there, I mean, that's some good X's. But on the daily, man, let me clear off my scribble. She about to get that death cross here on the daily. Why is... So it looks like this one's going to be affected over the next couple of weeks. So that's 3 cents, and then I don't know. I mean, it could just come down here and range here of 3 and 3.2 cents for a couple of weeks, so things turn back around. But if not, 2.7, 2.69, 0.02696. Oh, I actually got it right on it. Possible. The bigger picture was this trend line, and she got rejected right up there at the 5 cent area. So if you pull your fibs now, and that's why the 3 cent area, so 618, and ooh, I guess I need to tag you too, man. That would be this trend line here, coming back and retesting this trend line. That could be 2.33. I mean, the 786 fib area, that could be that. That would, well, it won't suck too bad because I don't watch this bag. This is when I've got tugged away staking or whatever. So I might, if I can think about it, I'll put an alert on that line to remind me, and maybe I will get my reminder and I'll add some more to my bag. because I'd like to get another 10x out of it. Celinda says June always sucks. It usually does. Yeah, summer usually does suck for crypto. However, some analysts looking for a good June. I think even BitBoy's gone for an all-time high in June. He's not an analyst though. Rise and Sun said, let's shorts this down. Can you please look at Boom? Look at Meme. It's been worst performing meme lately. And I've got a big bag. Oh. Well, that's been a while back. That was back in March. So all the supply looks like it's out there, right? Okay. Just got a buy signal over on Tokenmetrics for the investors. All-time high being 2 cents. So fundamental grade's got 79% for a meme coin. That would make me feel a whole lot better. It makes me want to look at some of the coins I'm in. Oh man. Valuation grade's 34%, so she's still undervalued. You know, 50 would be right down the middle, and the further you get over here, the more overvalued you are. So 0 is overvalued and 100% is undervalued. So we're at a good spot. So that might affect how fast it moves. The closer it gets down here, you know, the slower that we can expect. I think we can expect good moves. Circulating spot 68 billion. Yeah, especially with that many coins, huh? Okay, so let's take a look. But they're all out there, so that's cool. I just see a big O range. Let's throw a few ideas out here. Let's just keep it like that right now. Came all the way back.
Don't fade
I think she's got a good chance to get a bounce here. If it even comes down this far again. It may not come down this far again. So the heavier moving averages are fine. So I see that the momentum is still up. It just got this little crash, this pullback. I think it's got a good chance of bouncing here, actually. I really do. Now we come up and then come back down to this trend line. I can't tell anything like that yet. But it looks like it should respect that trend line. Stochastics are bottoming out. MACD's just a little bit lagging. RSI's at 36, not quite down to where she can go. We did lose that. So she can come down just a little bit, and I think she's going to retest this area down here. You guys can chart the RSI too if you didn't know that. That's a little trick that might help you out of a pinch, like what we're kind of figuring out right here. Perfect time to use that kind of little strategy. So I'm seeing where she can push down a little bit more. Let's look for a bounce here, and I think she can recover now. We'll get a higher high target over here. But also get some good resistance targets here. Should we do some forecasting? We did the little trend line forecasting trick. This is just for fun and games. This is Can we hit 2 cents by Monday, July 22nd? I have no freaking idea, man. No idea. It would just this just based on time and price traveling together. Time and price. Can't say it's squared, but well, time and price meet. It kind of is a little bit of a WD Gann principle, but it's just based on the angle and time. It's fun to play with. But it's not like the fib things that can get real cool to play with. When you get to break out your time fibbers. Oh man, are you almost there? Are you going to call it a different one? Dude, are you going to front run me 2 days? Fib says like, call me crazy. Let's see. Tuesday, June 24th. Tuesday. Might that be when we get our turnaround? That's usually what we're looking for, all these Fib time things. Or might we possibly, I don't know if we'll hit the target at 10.5 cents on that day. But let's have some more games and let's come back and look at this next week. So Linda, I'm counting on you to come back and let's take a look at this for fun and games. See if we got a bounce here with our Fib time, and then if we did, then I'm going to probably adjust this thing to whatever it said because, well, it was right. I might as well listen to it. Hey, Fish Guru! Boom is in demand zone. Bitcoin bounces in well too. Hey, glad to have you here. You were talking about tether dominance and everything a couple streams ago. And I hadn't looked at it, and since then I'd zoomed out. I've been talking about it the last few streams. I don't know if I'm talking about the same thing you were talking about. On my messy chart over here. But I'm just wondering if I'm reading this. This is total 3. I put tether dominance along with USDC dominance, and I get the big trend line that we got there, and here we bounced off of it. That was where there are our tops and our runs. Actually, that was part of the run. This whole section here, where I if I'm looking at this right, and if I read this right, I just wonder what your thought was, and if it's close to what you were talking about or not. Where if Bitcoin dominance or the stablecoin dominance starts coming back down to these bottom areas, where we get a run up on Bitcoin, and I'm kind of looking, it might be a nice run up where we can get our higher highs, maybe. Or if it kind of levels out here, Bitcoin price could really go up. But anytime that we're bouncing up here, then that's signifying the end of a move. So it's looking like there might be a possibility of, I was wondering, there might be a double top on Bitcoin, or kind of like what we had last time. This is what it did when Bitcoin did its double tops. And it's looking really interesting. And then I got all freaked out because I was like, oh crap, what that trend line breaks, what does that mean? Does that mean Bitcoin's just going crazy? Or does everything, altcoins just all go to hell? I mean, this is but just some interesting things there. But it did get me thinking. But I had to put USDC in here too. But then I've also got to consider, also we got all this ETF money with the just dollars coming in, like straight from banks and whatever other funds just in dollars. It's bypassing stablecoin altogether, and that kind of diluting the whole stablecoin effect a little bit. I don't know. It's interesting, but that really got me thinking. So I'm glad that you brought that up. At least I don't even know if we're thinking of the same thing, but at least it got me to looking, man, because we may just get a shorter run up for Bitcoin and then get a bigger pullback if the trend line does what the she usually does, and we get a bounce. Me, come back in the chat here. Jackson says, I agree, June always sucks. Bryson says, best TA channel on the tube, buddy. Appreciate it. I appreciate the compliment. Don't know if I'm the best or anything, but don't claim that title at all. But I think I could do decent. Kurt said, hey, welcome to stream. Can you look at the worst performing coin XRP, please? XRP, and I still got a little wondering why. Because I know as soon as I sell it, something big is going to happen. I think that's why we're all hanging on to it, because as soon as we sell, something big is going to happen. So I'm waiting for a 40, is it 42? I'm waiting for the 42 cent area. We got a trend line down here. I'm waiting for that area to hit. kind of back where we were there. And then now this is going to be resistance. This trend line that we have here, let me paint it red. So whenever price gets to the top of it, and that's where 200 moving averages are. So we're, at best we can hope for a range somewhere between 42 cents and 58 cents that we can kind of play with. That might be a way to make some money off of XRP if we actually get some good 20-30% moves, but she hasn't done it yet. So you might see something kind of like maybe any of this down here, in my opinion. This looks just like a big ass harmonic move over here that just, I don't know. I hope it doesn't take 10 years to play out. Is this going to be a type 2? But she pulled back to 886, man, to the 886. Those are deep retracements. So I can say that by my fib strategies, with that big of a pullback, I wouldn't expect. And I already do it. These two areas right here would be awesome targets at $1.61 and $1.80. They would be some awesome targets for bouncing off of this particular fib area. Where she might get worse, we'll probably get some strong rejection if we're blessed to make it up there. And this is not really, I got a makeshift channel here, but there's still a measure we can take from it that kind of takes us up to those areas too. So long range picture, I'm looking at that, but in short term, you got all this stuff to deal with. You know, you usually get these, some people look at them as double bottoms, but it kind of helps us to look for a price that needs to come back up to these top areas right around $1 after it kind of struggles through this area. So she's gonna hang around the 40s for a while. It's the same thing every cycle, man, with XRP. It goes through this. It and Cardano too. They all go through these periods where they're just turtles and don't do anything, and you're just like, wow, am I holding you? I remember Cardano doing this at 4 cents, 2 and 4 cents, and I'm like, are we ever gonna hit a dime? That was the dream, if Cardano could hit a dime. But she would stay between 2 and 4 cents forever. This is like years, cycles ago, but it's the same thing. It's just an XRP, man. You saying it's got its little levels. But 48 is good now. They used to be the high targets back in the day. I mean, 18 cent XRP, 12 cent XRP. We're taking around 12 and 18 cents, and that was. But anyway, those days are over. So just a range, accumulation, kind of like what is over there. Definitely some opportunity cost for XRP, I gotta say. Dog, is a good time to buy QNT? Well, it's at a good, decent price. I just wonder why the hell I still have this thing. It's really tried my patience. It is. There's a. This is one that has, man. I want to clear all this off because it's just noisy. And she broke a trend line? She wicked to it. She's respecting the trend line though. That could be a good sign. I want to look at. Let's see what Tokenmetrics is saying about it. See if I still as interested in this. She's a little neutral on it right now for investing. $1.2 billion market cap. Circulating supply is 14 million, and that's what we're like. Let's be like Bitcoin. I mean, if it's got a good use case, which we were hoping for, but those ISO 222 or whatever that nobody even talks about anymore. That was all the talk, and that's what irks me about crypto. But I think it's the nature of the beast, and I think anybody who does have a channel or something does talk about what's popular, because else nobody wants to watch what you talk about. Nobody wants to click, so it just kind of automatically brings us to whatever's hot and pushed for, and just kind of ends up being hotter. So I think we all contribute to that, but I don't know. I'm trying not to let myself get too excited about any kind of hypes or pumps anymore, because it's just the narratives. Okay, so let's go check you out. Fundamental grade 62%, valuation grade doesn't give me, technology grade 49. You're not much of a help, dude. That wasn't very much of a help to me. The Q&T. So little. Now we're UK Finance, the foundation of digital finance, unlocking the benefits of all. Financial institutions, enterprises, and their customers all benefit from assets whose ownership is immutable, provenance is traceable, and use is programmable. Entirely new digital economies are emerging as a result. So, you're just... Why isn't this in more demand? And we've seen her get up to $425. And that was in the last run, and she was down to, where was it? Here? 105 at that time. She's been lackluster. She's been a disappointment, and by my fib strategies, man, anything below here is accumulation. So at some point you should be able to look back and say, oh wow, man, that would have been a great place to buy Q&T. So to answer your question, I would say technically, yeah, you're in a great place to... How low is she going to go though? But we got this for our main move, so let's go ahead and, I would expect us to at least come back to 279 for Q&T, right? To make it worth my while to hold this thing. But I've been holding this thing for so long, I'm like, dude, all these other coins have already just taken off and left you. Why? Why am I hanging on to you? These are the conversations I have with myself when I'm not online. Sometimes I have them when I am online, such as right now. We got higher targets definitely that she could hit. $500, 478. We've got some targets that she can hit. All to this proportion. It's relative. It's cool. It would make sense. We need to keep respecting the 786 level, but now we see that she's touched this area once, like twice, and now she's coming through it on a third time. Not saying that she's just saying she wicked through it, that she doesn't break through it, but the next rung on the ladder is down here at $80, the 886 fib area. Oh, I'm sorry, $62. Haven't seen her there since summer of 2022, 2 years ago. Are you going to come down here and that would suck. That would an Ichimoku Cloud saying, yeah, I want to push her down there. What the hell? Come on, man. Why would you want to do that? We need to bounce off this area. We need to see and we're starting, but I'm not convinced that we're going to do it. So that's the weekly chart. Let me come down to the daily and see what it says. If there's anything that makes me think we might have a bounce short term, would be this 100 crossing that 200, because sometimes when that happens, we can get a nice little lift out of price. So might we see a little comeback and get back close to $100, or maybe Gosh, that would be great. Get up close to that 100 moving average again, about 108. That would be awesome, but that would be short-lived. So overall, this is kind of bearish. If I get that opportunity, I'm going to see what I can do to de-risk. This is interesting. This is one of them things. Well, then are you going to be here? That's one of them things. I don't know them things. They sure do look cool though. I know these things and they ain't too fun. $70 for a measured move there. Q&T, man. Q&T. I'm hoping that she's not going to be as symmetrical over here and just have to come back and just go, I gotta make the perfect little bat ear costume for Halloween or whatever, and have to do this kind of crap. I'm hoping you don't come back. I first was getting in at these juicy prices, but then I kind of bought a little high over here. And I'm not excited about Q&T as I was. Maybe try not to let that be a bias to me, but gosh darn it, Q&T, do something. Do something. Stop being a wussy coin, man. Do something. Respect the trend line every once in a while. Oh, shoot, you come into that target too. Brace yourself. It may not be over. She may come down to these nice areas. 68, I wouldn't doubt it. I would call 68. Come on, Q&T. That probably was not all that helpful. Sam West says, Costa is the wave of the future, man. To the moon with Costa. Selena says, I don't even look at my XRP. It's too depressing. I'm waiting for $5. It's just on my ledger. I've sold some of my bag at one point when it was up. Just, you know, I was like, I gotta do something else besides just letting this just bounce up and down. Costa, isn't that Carl the Moon's coin? Yep. Fish Guru says, if Bitcoin is going for a new all-time high, it's probably starting that journey this weekend because XPS is about done. I was curious about SPX though, but it wouldn't be the first time. I don't know. I'm not as familiar tracking it like with the fibs and everything, but generally when I see something get a bounce off a 236 off a move like that, usually turns out to be a good move. And then she got over her highs there and retested it. I'm just wondering, because to me that's looking a little bullish. Fish Guru says, don't lose hope on blue chip alts, folks, but worry about low and mid caps when Bitcoin dump starts. Amen to that. That is, woo, baby, they will drop. We've got a little taste of that now. What's a Moku and why is it itchy? I don't know why they get so itchy. Fish Guru says, Dog, you said that Bitcoin and a few memes have moved, but US dominant moved or over twice the distance down it did in the last bull. Nothing moved in this market but Tether. I smell a rug pull. Fish Guru says, 10-year bond yield confirmation to the upside will seal the deal for the whole market. Man, I haven't looked at that in a minute. I forgot where I had your part. No, that was the inflation rate. I got US 30. I don't have the. Ah, crap. Yeah, I haven't looked at that in a while. I don't track that, so you know much more about that stuff than I do. I'm usually watching other people talk about that. I'm trying to get back to where I was. Where are we? Late night picks. Okay. But was it US? La 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 la. US 10-year. Oh, okay. I've looked at it at some point. A couple of years ago, it looks like. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I think you'd have to do them all. Well, it definitely looks. Well, we got a golden cross here on the monthly for 10-year bonds. So 10-year bond confirmation of the upside will seal the deal for the home market. So can you elaborate what exactly happens when the bond yields go up? I think that would educate me and the other people here too. And I know they've been fighting with Yellen over 10-year. And was it over long-term and short-term bonds? Something she's borrowing at higher interest. The short-term yields, when she could be doing it with the long-term yields, but they're not seeing eye to eye. I don't know. It was Senator Kennedy that was grilling her on that stuff. I like Senator Kennedy. Selena says, oh, seems like it takes a big dump for Bitcoin to reset and take off. Whale's got to buy the dip. I need to start looking a little bit more at the bonds and some of that stuff as being part of my indicators, but I just... There's more of them. It's what sucks, and we had to start doing this last cycle too, as we had more Wall Street or, you know, those types into the market. We had to start looking at more of that stuff, and, you know, I didn't have to look at, you know, the S&P 500 or Dow Jones or anything like that, or some people were looking at Dow Jones. S&P 500, or we didn't have to look at that stuff before in crypto, but then the last cycle we had to start, that was being introduced, and I was like, oh great, another thing we have to start tracking. Oh great. And then, yeah, and to track that stuff effectively, then we start having to get into, it can get complicated or seemingly complicated to those of us that want to keep it kind of as simple as possible, but getting into the 10-year years. But this is part about how the finance stuff works, and I try to take it up a little by little. But yeah, this is not my area of expertise at all. I'm just more on the crypto, but it's the... I'm going to have to pick her up. And we're sitting here, Bitcoin hanging out at 69,298. Oh, Bitcoin. Is you going to drops down here? Bitcoin, are you coming back down to this area? Are you going to come down to 67 area? My thing with Bitcoin, I guess what I'm looking at are these two, yeah, we've all got it marked right here, these two lines. And this was our tops. Well, I need to adjust that one. Oh, I'm on the weekly. I may have done it on the daily. This is the, no, I think I meant to do it here. The weekly candle closes for our tops on Bitcoin, and it was right around this area, about 58, right about 59,000, where we got our candle body closes, our highest candle body close on the first top, and our highest candle body close over here. I guess I can park it over here and read it. That candle body closed at $65,228 here on Coinbase, and that's so I can actually fine tune this little guy, can't I? So we need to stay above that. So 69,000. As long as we can stay above 69,000, we're good, and that's the areas that we're kind of flirting with right now. And so we're wrestling with that weekly candle body, and we'll know soon enough, frankly, tomorrow, how we'll be doing on our weekly close and stuff. And looking on the Christmas tree candles, I mean, it's a better candle than we had the week before. So ultimately, and we're above the 9-moving average. Ultimately, I'm going back on the bigger time frames. I'm seeing good things. It's just on the smaller time frames I'm just seeing the chops. And so I'll go back to the original thesis that I mentioned earlier as far as Bitcoin in the market. It looks like the next, I would say, 10 to 14 days can be choppy, especially the next 7 days. And I think the FMOC will probably see a lot from there, a lot of flush out. So be cautious that without your leverage trades. But after that, man, I mean, things are looking promising after just, you know, a week or two. At least that's what I'm seeing right now. We'll just have to take it a little by little. Guys, it is now 12:25. It is time for me to get out of here. Fish Crew, sorry I forgot about the planetary alignments. Hey, WD Gann, planetary, the angles and the price. That blew my mind. Fish Crew says, yeah, I never thought I'd agree with you guys about anything. Man, I'm glad you're here, Fish Crew. I'm just glad there's woke people up to the end game of the socialism. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. If nothing else, gosh, yes. Not to get into politics, but Trump isn't really a Republican. That's true. He's not. He's really more of a libertarian, I think. He sort of took the party over, and I support what he does. The old Republican guard hates him. Man, I just want the Constitution back. That's all. I just want us to go back to the Constitution, and I'll be good. We just got all these laws that are just overstep that. I mean, when you can get pulled over for a traffic stop and you got a cop that just has this agenda for attaboys or whatever, that's so easy, and it's sadly been manipulated live where a traffic stop turns into a misdemeanor or a felony just so whatever incentives can be met back at the station. So I don't, you know, I don't like to see constitutional rights being disrespected, especially the fourth. Because there ain't a damn thing you can do while they're overstepping, while they're overstepping your rights. You can't do anything unless you want things to go terribly wrong. And that's kind of sucks. But they're not all that way, but that power is there, and it shouldn't be. Like the qualified immunity, there needs to be some kind of work done on that. Yeah, it's not a politics channel. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I'll be back again tomorrow night. Looking at the nightly close, I guess. Good night, everybody. God bless you. Tomorrow's church day. Just a reminder. Okay, cool. Make sure I do that. Hey, I should. Can I? Let me go ahead and put that on here.
You won't make it to the finish line. If you gotta know the truth was gonna let you go. You was fine, never mind.
So no billionaires hold volatile assets at all-time highs when they can get 6% yield on a 3-month note.
In the nighttime, hit my hotline.
Yeah, Kennedy Goat is still a lefty. Is he? Is Kennedy a Democrat? Oh, he's Republican. Good night, John Boy. Good night, everybody.
So I'm just gonna be away for 1 hour. Please don't break anything. And I might have a surprise for you.
Make politics interesting again.
Added a syllable. Talking about big cash, that's the minimum. I'm
Good night, everybody.